What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. If you're here wondering where the Hawk's Nest stream is, we bumped it back to Friday. Should be going live tomorrow at noon. We're going to be talking about Clint Kubiak a lot, so definitely be there. But yeah, delayed a day so we can get ready. Just doing normal stuff today, though. I'm probably on Twitch right now, by the way, so come check me out over there. I'm doing the Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 that just released. So, brand new release. Should be fun. Should be still playing it as this video is uploaded. All right. We're talking about another outgoing free agent for the Seattle Seahawks. This is Johnathan Hankins. Johnathan Hankins, nose tackle. He's been all across this league. He's played for a bunch of different teams, and he spent last year on the Seattle Seahawks. And now we have to make a decision on whether or not we want to bring him back. Now, Hankins is about to turn 33, so he's definitely getting to that age where you have to start wondering if he's going to have anything left in the tank. And when you ask that question, the answer could very easily be no. And quite honestly, in the case of Johnathan Hankins, I think there's a pretty good argument you can make that, well, the answer is no. So looking at what he did for the Seahawks last year, it wasn't a lot. He didn't play a ton, 30 tackles, 5 for loss, which is not too bad for a nose tackle. One pass deflection that actually turned into, well, no, he actually had an interception on his own, and he had another pass breakup or a batted down pass, however you want to qualify it. He did play in every game, started half of them, but overall, it wasn't a lot. He gave what he had to give. Overall, we got what we paid for with Johnathan Hankins, and again, that's not really a compliment. Remember, we gave him just over 1 year, 2 million, and we got probably $2 million worth of production. And sometimes you get what you pay for in this league. You take a look at what he did in 2023 on PFF. They thought he was pretty bad. This was he was playing for the Cowboys at this time. Pretty bad, pretty lackluster. But what he did in Seattle, according to Pro Football Focus, was basically a war crime. One of the worst players in the league at his position, one of the least effective nose tackles in the league, and he's not playing a lot, right? He played less than 400 snaps on the year, so it's not like we overworked him. He's running out of gas. I don't know how else to put it. About the best thing you can say about Hankins is that he's big. He's a legitimate nose tackle. He can actually handle zero tech stuff, but I don't know if he can handle much of anything anymore. That's the issue. Now, he's worth something just because he's big, but what is that something? Well, we're going to go back to the defensive tackle list, sorted by average annual value, and we're going to have to go way down the list to even get started here. It's not really any realistic possibility that he gets paid anything close to the top guys. Even like 5 million a year is absurd to imagine. If anybody offers Johnathan Hankins 5 million a year, he should sign that in 2 seconds before they take it away. But let's try to find other older nose tackles in this league, right? Because that's what Hankins is. He's an old, mostly washed up nose tackle. Those guys still get paid a little bit because they're big, and big guys like that are a rare commodity. But there's not a big market for him because they everybody kind of knows they're out of juice. So let's start with John Jenkins of the Raiders, who signed a 1 year, call it $2.9 million contract with the Raiders at 34, so 1 year older than Hankins is now. You take a look at Jenkins, he's kind of had a similar career to what Hankins has had, just bounced all over the place, providing pretty decent play overall, but nothing stands out critically so. He did start all 17 games for the Raiders in 2023, and he played in every game the previous year for Miami. He just didn't start anything and didn't play as much, but he was a full-time player for the 2023 Raiders. Go to Pro Football Focus, 2022, they thought he was about average, just kind of forgettable, mediocre, workable player. And then for the Raiders, that with the year he started 17 games, they thought he was a little above average. So John Jenkins is kind of like if Hankins was good, right? John Jenkins is like Johnathan Hankins, but actually still good, despite the fact that he's a year older. So definitely not here. That's too high. Based on Jenkins's pay, we got to keep going. So the next guy worth looking at is probably Linval Joseph, who was 35 last year, got $2.5 million from the Cowboys for 2024. And Linval Joseph in a somewhat similar boat to a guy like a Johnathan Hankins. He's a bigger guy. He can handle nose tackle type things. By the way, also a second round pick. Also, I believe of the Giants. I think Hankins was originally a Giant. Yes, he was. They were both second round picks of the Giants once upon a time. Linval Joseph in a somewhat similar position to Hankins, I guess. You can see that the years leading up to him getting that contract from Dallas, he started about half the season in Philadelphia in 2022, and then he was a bit player for the Bills in 2023. So I guess you might say he's just chasing that ring. He's trying to get himself one more ring before he retires, trying to latch onto these teams that are going to make deep playoff runs. You can see that the stats are pretty unimpressive. Last time he put up impressive stats was in the LA with the Chargers in 2021. Now, Pro Football Focus thought he was about average, maybe slightly above average in 2022. And then they thought he was really bad in 2023. So we're in the ballpark, right? I would say we're in the right area. We have a framework here. This is pretty comparable to Johnathan Hankins. I'm going to say we're not there quite yet because a lot of this is going to be attributed to him not playing that much. Like in Buffalo, his Pro Football Focus grade was really bad, but it is a small sample size. In Philly, the year before, when he was actually starting games, he was doing a little bit better. And the previous year, when he was with the Chargers, he still showed that he had something decent left in the tank. So I don't think we've reached the point of a clean comparison yet. So if we keep going, we do get to Hankins, by the way, the deal that he signed with us in the last offseason. What about what's our next good comp? We got to keep going here, right? We got to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, trying to find maybe Mike Pennel. Mike Pennel last offseason at 32 signed 1 year 1.2 million, which is, vet min for him, right? Veteran minimum 1.21 million. Mike Pennel. Now, Pennel signed with the Chiefs. He had signed with the Chiefs for the previous season. He had been on the Bears the year before that. And you can see he was another one of those guys that just bounced around his career. Packers, Jets, Chiefs, Falcons, Bears, back to the Chiefs. So here's the thing with Mike Pennel. In 2022, he played a decent amount, was graded out pretty poorly. 45.8. That's not what you want to see. And then the next year, he graded out as one of the worst players in the league, but he only played 45 snaps. My head's blocking that. Yeah, 45 snaps. So I don't think he got penalized too heavily for his play. He probably got penalized a little bit because he wasn't on the field. But for the most part, I think that we've kind of reached the point where obviously we're going to go up from here. Hankins actually played a decent amount in 2023, and he was, for whatever it's worth, a little bit better than Pennel was in 2023. So we got to go a little bit up from here in all likelihood, but I don't think we need to go up above even like a Linval Joseph, really. I think we're probably in about the right territory. So we're talking about at most 1 year, 2 million. And my thing is, Hankins got 1 year, 2 million last offseason and didn't really do much. So how are you going to give him a pay raise when he's only going to be a year older, right? Because Hankins, according to Pro Football Focus, has been kind of at the end of the line for a while now. So if anything, you would expect that to go down. Yes, he'll get paid something because he's a big guy, and that is valuable because there aren't a lot of big guys in the NFL. But we are talking about we're talking about something that is very replacement level. Like there are probably multiple guys you could get in UDFA that weigh 350 pounds and they're not really good, but they're going to give you what you can get out of Hankins. Remember, he's only going to get older, and this year he already showed signs of not having anything left in the tank. So I'd probably say the point of entry for Hankins would hope to be at about 1 year, 2 million. About about there. I know Linval Joseph got more than that last year, but Linval Joseph, the thing with him, he does have a little bit of a reputation because he was a two-time Pro Bowler. At one point, he was considered to be one of the better players in the league at his position, and he really didn't get to play for Buffalo, so people weren't holding that against him. Hankins has been sliding down for a while now. So 1 year, maybe 1.8, maybe 1.9 million would be my guess. Would I do that? I don't think so. I need to find something with a little more gas in the tank. Hankins just, it's not going to get better, right? It's only going to get worse. I like the idea of Johnathan Hankins, but he's just a little too he's just a little too old for me. And I know some of these guys that are still playing decently are older, but Hankins, not much left in that tank. Would I do veteran minimum? Because again, with players like Hankins, they slip through the cracks sometimes. Sometimes you do get them for veteran minimum. I don't think that Hankins will get to that point. I think he can get at least 1.5 million because of his size, which is something that is somewhat covetable. But I don't think I would do that either. I just want to do something different. So I'm kind of a no on Hankins for any price, unless he plays for free, and I don't think you can do that. But let me know what you guys think. I know this isn't the most compelling one, but we had to spend some time on it regardless. Johnathan Hankins, at most, I think you're looking at 1 year, 2 million, as little as the minimum. Would you do it? I'm a no, no matter what, but I concede that he's worth something. Like getting him for the veteran minimum would not be a bad thing. It's just I want to turn the page. See you guys later. Go Hawks.